Good afternoon. This is All India Radio. I am Valsa Williams and with me is Manoj Singh Rana with the Midday News. The headlines. Relief and rescue operations in full swing in Kerala. Prime Minister Narendra Modi discusses situation with Chief Minister. Centre assures all help to Kerala to tide over the crisis. Death toll in rain-related incidents rises to 25. IMD predicts heavy rainfall in Uttarakhand, Delhi and several parts of Uttar Pradesh. Over 97 crore 79 lakh COVID-19 vaccine doses administered in the country so far. Recovery rate is at 98.12%. Uttarakhand administers first dose of COVID vaccine to its entire eligible population. Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman meets global leaders and investors in New York, tells India has undertaken several reforms to ease foreign investment in infrastructure, including fiscal benefits. External Affairs Minister Dr. Jaishankar appreciates Israelis' visible enthusiasm for having more partnerships with India. The Jammu and Kashmir administration and Dubai government signed Memorandum of Understanding for Industrialization and Sustainable Growth in the Union Territory. 5-day Naval Commanders Conference begins today in New Delhi. India to take part in the Moscow format meeting on Afghanistan to be held on Wednesday. BJP office bearers meeting underway at party headquarters in New Delhi. And in T20 World Cup, India to play first warm-up match against England today in Dubai. As India is on the verge of vaccinating 100 crore people against COVID-19, All India Radio salutes all the doctors, nurses and others who made this possible. At the same time, we caution our listeners that the battle against COVID is not yet over. We appeal to our listeners to get fully vaccinated at the earliest and also help others get vaccinated. During the festival season, please follow these 3 simple steps. Wear a face mask, maintain 2 gaz ki duri for social distancing, focus on hand and face hygiene. For any COVID-related information and guidance, contact national helpline numbers 011-2397-8046 and 1075. And now the news in detail. Prime Minister Narendra Modi spoke to Kerala Chief Minister Pinarayi Vijayan and discussed the situation in the wake of heavy rain and landslide in the state. In a series of tweets, the Prime Minister said it is saddening that some people have lost their lives due to heavy rain and landslides in Kerala. He expressed condolence to the bereaved families. The Prime Minister said authorities are working on the ground to assist the injured and affected people. He prayed for everyone's safety and well-being. Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu has also expressed grief over the loss of lives due to floods in Kerala. In a tweet, Mr. Naidu said he is deeply distressed and prayed for the safety of those affected by floods. Union Home Minister Amit Shah said his ministry is continuously monitoring the situation in Kerala. In a tweet, Mr. Shah said the central government will provide all possible support to help people in need. Mr. Shah informed that National Disaster Response Force teams have already been sent to assist the rescue operations in the state. In Kerala, the death toll in rain-related incidents rose to 25 as more bodies were recovered. Incessant rains that lashed across the state over the last few days has shown a gradual declining trend as the depression in Arabian Sea weakened. Meanwhile, the Kerala State Electricity Board has said the water level in Idukki Dam is likely to touch the red alert level by this evening. A state-level expert committee on dams will take a decision on releasing water from the dam soon. A report.
The rescue operations are continuing in full swing in the worst hit districts of Kottayam, Idukki and Pathanamthitta. Armed Forces police personnel, NDRF teams are coordinating the rescue missions. Over 8,000 people are shifted to various relief camps across the state. Chief Minister Pinarayi Vijayan held an emergency meeting and took stock of the situation today. Expert panel has been appointed to decide on matters relating to raising the shutters of various dams. Opening of colleges has been postponed to 25th of this month. Meanwhile, Met Department forecasts that chances of heavy rains are less today and tomorrow and no alerts have been declared so far. But from Wednesday, the showers are likely to intensify. Mayusha for AR News from Thiruvananthapuram.
In Uttarakhand, light to moderate rain continues in most parts of the state since this morning. The India Meteorological Department has predicted heavy to very heavy rains in some parts of the state for today and tomorrow. Our Dehradun correspondent reports that schools have been closed as a precautionary measure in view of heavy rains in some districts. The NDRF has also reached Haridwar and it has been kept on standby mode.
Intermittent moderate to light rain is being experienced in many parts of Garhwal and Kumaon regions since this morning, including the state capital Dehradun. According to the weather department, a red alert has been issued for all districts of the state today, with relatively more severe weather activity likely to occur in the Kumaon region. Whereas for tomorrow, an orange alert of heavy to very heavy rain has been issued for Pithoragarh, Bageshwar, Nainital, Almora and Champawat district. Thunderstorm accompanied with lightning and hail has also been predicted at some places of the state as well. In view of the weather warning, many district administrations of the state have issued instruction to shut the school for today. The 31-member NDRF team has also been deployed on standby mode at Haridwar to face any eventuality arise due to the disaster. On the other hand, Chardham-bound pilgrims have been stopped at safer places where all necessary arrangements have been made for them. Meanwhile, Chief Minister Pushkar Singh Dhami held a meeting with all the district administration from Dehradun to take stock of the situation related to the weather warning. Union Home Minister Amit Shah also spoke to the Chief Minister over the phone and took stock of the preparations being made by the state government. Sanjeev Sundrial, AIR News, Dehradun.
In Uttar Pradesh, it has been raining since yesterday in many parts of the state. Schools and colleges in some districts are closed today in the wake of heavy rain alert from the India Meteorological Department. More from our Lucknow correspondent.
Weather drastically changed yesterday across the state and almost all districts received rainfall with gusty winds. It's quite unusual to witness such a heavy rainfall in October month in state. Farmers are worried about their paddy crops. Meteorological department has predicted heavy rains in some parts of western Uttar Pradesh today. In Meerut and Bagpat districts, administration decided to close all the schools from class 1 to 12. Although the exams will be held as per schedule. Some districts are receiving continuous rain from yesterday. There are reports of some deaths due to lightning also. Sushil Chandra Tiwari, AIR News, Lucknow.
Moderate to heavy rainfall has been lashing many parts of the national capital since yesterday, making the weather pleasant. The IMD has said that thunderstorm with moderate to heavy intensity rain will continue to occur over Delhi and its adjoining areas today. The maximum temperature will hover around 29 degrees Celsius. Talking to AIR News, Director General of the India Meteorological Department, M. Mahapatra, has said the rainfall activity in the city is mainly because of the low pressure area lying over Telangana and the western disturbance approaching towards northwest India. Mr. Mahapatra said that this weather system is impacting entire northwest India and its impact will be felt more over western Uttar Pradesh and Uttarakhand area.
The News Services Division of All India Radio will bring an exclusive interview with Dr. Mrityunjay Mahapatra, Director General of Indian Meteorological Department, on weather and climate science for society in our Spotlight program. This can be heard tonight on FM Gold channel and additional frequencies from 9:15 p.m. onwards. This program will also be available on our YouTube channel, News on AIR Official. Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman told global leaders and investors in an interaction in New York that India has undertaken several reforms to ease foreign investment in infrastructure, including fiscal benefits, which have created opportunities for investors and industry in the country. At a roundtable organized by FICCI and the US-India Strategic Partnership Forum, Ms. Sitharaman said that with the current reset in the global supply chain and clear-headed and committed leadership in India, she sees opportunities galore in India for all investors and industry stakeholders. The finance minister is on a week-long tour of the United States, where she met several business leaders and US government officials, including Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen last week. She said India has fully leveraged the potential of digitization even during the most challenging time of the COVID-19 pandemic.
India has administered over 97 crore 79 lakh doses of COVID vaccine so far under the nationwide vaccination drive. The Union Health Ministry said more than 12 lakh 5,000 vaccine doses were administered in the last 24 hours. The ministry said 19,582 COVID patients recovered during the last 24 hours and the national recovery rate has reached 98.12%. The country reported 13,596 new cases in the last 24 hours. Currently, India's active caseload is around 1,89,000. The government has said more than 102 crore COVID vaccine doses have been provided to the states and union territories so far. The Union Health Ministry today said more than 10 crore 72 lakh unutilized vaccine doses are still available with the states, UTs and private hospitals to be administered.
Uttarakhand has administered the first dose of COVID vaccine to its entire eligible population 3 months ahead of target. Chief Minister Pushkar Singh Dhami said a total of 74 lakh people in the state have been administered the first dose of the vaccine. He said 34.68 lakh people have been given the second dose. Mr. Dhami has thanked all government, private and voluntary organizations involved in the exercise. He also thanked Prime Minister Narendra Modi for raising the supply of vaccine doses for the state from August onwards. Brihan Mumbai Municipal Corporation's Kasturba Hospital has announced results of the third batch of genetic sequence of COVID-19 virus, that is next generation genome sequencing. The civic body has concluded that the outbreak of the COVID-19 pandemic is almost under control and it can overcome the pandemic in the coming days if people continue to vaccinate themselves and adopt COVID-appropriate behavior. A report.
हमने पूरी तैयारी कर रखी है, सभी जगह अलर्ट जारी कर दिए हैं, सभी डीएम, एसएसपी, मुख्य सचिव से पूरी बात पहले ही सवेरे हो चुकी है हमारी कि उन्होंने सभी लोगों से अलग अलग तरीके से बात कर ली और मैंने स्वयं भी बात करी है। हमने सभी यात्रियों से भी जो चारधाम यात्रा में बड़ी संख्या में आए हैं, उनसे भी हमने अनुरोध किया है कि चूंकि 18 और 19 2 दिन जो है भारी अलर्ट है, तो वो अभी 1-2 दिन यात्रा को टाल दें, चूंकि उनके आगे के बचाव के लिए है, सुरक्षा के लिए है।
We beg your pardon for that wrong report there.
The Navy's top commanders will hold their biannual meeting today to discuss the force's operational, logistical and material preparedness and future plans. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh, Chief of Defence Staff CDS General Bipin Rawat and Navy Chief Admiral Karambir Singh will address the Navy commanders along with the Chiefs of the Army and the Air Force. Our correspondent reports the CDS and the Army and Air Force Chiefs will also interact with the Naval commanders to address convergence of the three services vis-à-vis the operational environment and on avenues for augmenting tri-service synergy. You're listening to the Midday News on All India Radio. A reminder of the headlines before we move on. Relief and rescue operations in full swing in Kerala. Prime Minister Narendra Modi discusses situation with Chief Minister. Centre assures all help to Kerala to tide over the crisis. Death toll in rain-related incidents rises to 25. IMD predicts heavy rainfall in Uttarakhand, Delhi and several parts of Uttar Pradesh. Over 97 crore 79 lakh COVID-19 vaccine doses administered in the country so far. Recovery rate is at 98.12%. Uttarakhand administers first dose of COVID vaccine to its entire eligible population. Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman meets global leaders and investors in New York, says India has undertaken several reforms to ease foreign investment in infrastructure, including fiscal benefits. External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Shankar appreciates Israel's visible enthusiasm for having more partnerships with India. Jammu and Kashmir administration and Dubai government signed Memorandum of Understanding for Industrialization and Sustainable Growth in the Union Territory. 5-day Naval Commanders Conference begins today in New Delhi. India to take part in the Moscow format meeting on Afghanistan to be held on Wednesday. BJP office bearers meeting underway at party headquarters in New Delhi. And in T20 World Cup, India to play first warm-up match against England in Dubai this evening. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on Twitter at AIR News Alerts.
आजादी के आंदोलन के खजाने में ऐसे ढेरों शब्द जिन्होंने बदल दिए इतिहास, तारीख बदलने वाले लफ्जों पर आकाशवाणी समाचार ला रहा है विशेष कार्यक्रम धरोहर हर सोमवार।
Welcome back to the Midday News. In the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir, the administration and the Dubai government today signed a Memorandum of Understanding MOU in Srinagar and entered into an agreement that will help Jammu and Kashmir Union Territory to scale new heights in industrialization and sustainable growth. Piyush Goyal, Union Minister of Commerce and Industry, Consumer Affairs, Food and Public Distribution and Textiles, was also present on the occasion. In a tweet, Lieutenant Governor Manoj Sinha said the MOU covers many fields and areas, including real estate development, industrial parks, IT towers, multi-purpose towers, logistics, medical college and super specialty hospital. He observed that the MOU signed today will set the pace in the business sector of the future that is key to the prosperity of the people of Jammu and Kashmir. On the occasion, Manoj Sinha also expressed his deepest gratitude to Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Home Minister Amit Shah for ushering in unprecedented development in Jammu and Kashmir. BJP office bearers meeting is underway at the party headquarters in New Delhi. Mr. JP Nadda, party president, is chairing the meet. The upcoming assembly elections in 5 states is the core agenda of the meeting. Farmers' agitation and the COVID-19 situation is also likely to be discussed. For the first time in the COVID-19 period, the meeting of the expanded office bearers is being held.
India has confirmed its participation in the Moscow format meeting on Afghanistan. The meeting, which is being hosted by Russia, is scheduled to be held in Moscow on Wednesday. The Ministry of External Affairs has said India received an invitation and will be participating in the meeting at the Joint Secretary level. This will be the first Moscow format dialogue after the takeover of Kabul by the Taliban in August 2021. This will be the second time that India will be meeting the Taliban face-to-face since it set up an interim government last month. India's ambassador to Qatar had earlier met Taliban representatives in Doha on the 31st of August. The Taliban has also confirmed its participation in the meeting. According to the Afghan Foreign Ministry, the delegation will be headed by Abdul Salam Hanafi, Deputy Prime Minister of the interim Afghan government. Speaking to All India Radio, former diplomat Ashok Sajjanhar said,
all the countries will be participating in the Moscow format of discussions. None of them has so far recognized the Taliban dispensation in Kabul. So India is not alone in that it has not recognized. None of the other countries have also recognized. So I think we are moving forward, but this is a huge step forward as far as India is concerned. So this will be the first time that India will be sitting around the same table with the Taliban representatives, with the Taliban senior officials, political officials, and having discussions. So I think this is a huge step forward, and it is a signal to the evolving situation, because I think India has also recognized that the Taliban is in Kabul. It is here to stay. It is we should start with operationally engaging them. You know, as the Prime Minister has said on a number of occasions, even at the SEO summit, that we should provide humanitarian assistance to the people of Afghanistan, also medical supplies and medical relief to the people of Afghanistan. And we have a very long civilizational connect with the people of Afghanistan. So this would be a forward movement in safeguarding and promoting our interests in that country.
The Moscow format was introduced in 2017 on the basis of the 6-party mechanism for consultations between special representatives from Russia, Afghanistan, China, Pakistan, Iran and India. The nostalgia of All India Radio News has been in the hearts and minds of people of India. Similar sentiments were echoed by External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar in Tel Aviv, Israel. He said people of his generation grew up with the signature tune of All India Radio that was composed by Jewish exile in India, Walter Kaufman. Addressing Indian Jewish community in Israel, Mr. Jaishankar said he also had a productive meeting with Israeli Chambers of Commerce and the innovation ecosystem. Dr. Jaishankar appreciated Israel's visible enthusiasm for having more partnerships with India. The minister said many post-COVID priorities, including digital, health, agriculture and green growth, are natural areas for collaboration between the two countries. Mr. Jaishankar valued Indian Jewish community's contribution to the India-Israel ties. He expressed confidence that the Indian Jewish community will bring both India and Israel even closer together in the coming years. The minister also visited the Indian cemetery at Talpiot as his first engagement in Jerusalem and paid homage to the brave Indian soldiers who made supreme sacrifice during the First World War. Walter Kaufmann, who composed the signature tune of Akashvani, was one of the many Jewish refugees who found a safe haven in India from the Nazis. He moved to India and worked as a director of music at All India Radio in Bombay from 1937 to 1946. Kaufmann founded the Bombay Chamber Music Society along with others like Meli Mehta, and incidentally, it was Kaufmann who taught Meli's son, Zubin Mehta.
As our nation celebrates the 75th year of independence, a series of events are being organized by the government as part of Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. To commemorate the occasion as a Jan Utsav, All India Radio News brings its listeners a special quiz on India's freedom movement and its glorious history. The quiz is being conducted every Monday and Tuesday in morning news since the 16th of August and will continue till the 15th of August 2022. India Post has joined hands as the logistics partner with All India Radio News for the Amrit Mahotsav quiz. Listeners can send their responses to the question over WhatsApp on 88265 46262 or through email on amritmahotsavquiz@prasarbharati.gov.in. Let's listen to our special program Azadi Ka Safar, highlighting the importance of the day during the freedom struggle.
आजादी का अमृत महोत्सव।
Azadi Ka Safar with AIR News. India's glorious fight for freedom is one of the greatest struggles the modern world has ever witnessed. AIR News brings you a glimpse of the valiant struggle every day.
In today's episode, we will talk about Ramakrishna Khatri. 18th of October is the death anniversary of Ramakrishna Khatri. He was born in Buldhana district of Maharashtra in 1902. During his student life, Khatri was influenced by Bal Gangadhar Tilak. He established the Udasin Mandal, where he was known as Mahant Govind Prakash.
Ramakrishna Khatri joined the Hindustan Republic Association and was given the task to spread the association in Uttar Pradesh and Madhya Pradesh by Ram Prasad Bismil. After the Kakori robbery, Ramakrishna Khatri was arrested from Pune and was jailed in Lucknow. After the trial, he was sentenced to 10 years of imprisonment for his involvement in the Kakori robbery. When Khatri was released from jail, he immediately started efforts to release other inmates from the jail.
It was because of the efforts of Ramakrishna Khatri that a memorial to freedom fighters could be built at Kakori. Ramakrishna Khatri was also a prolific writer. His book named Shahidon Ki Chhaya was published from Nagpur. He also wrote the book Kakori Shahid Smriti.
Narayan Dutt Tiwari was born on the 18th of October 1925 in the village of Baluti, located in Nainital district of Uttarakhand. His initiation into politics came early, when during the Indian independence movement, he was arrested on the 14th of December 1942 for writing anti-British leaflets opposing imperialist policies and sent to Nainital jail, where his father was already lodged.
Upon his release after 15 months in 1944, he enrolled at the Allahabad University, where he topped the university in MA Political Science. He continued his education with an LLB from the same university and was elected as the president of the Students' Union of the Allahabad University in 1947.
In the first election for the Uttar Pradesh Legislative Assembly held in 1952, he was elected from Nainital constituency. He became the Minister for Finance and Parliamentary Affairs in the Chaudhary Charan Singh government.
Tiwari was the Chief Minister of Uttar Pradesh 3 times. In the central government, Tiwari served as the Minister of Industries, Minister of Petroleum, External Affairs Minister, and Minister of Finance and Commerce. He also served as the first Chief Minister of Uttarakhand, which was carved out of Uttar Pradesh from 2002 till 2007.
Narayan Dutt Tiwari also served as Governor of Andhra Pradesh. He passed away on his birthday, that is 18th of October, in the year 2018.
That brings us to the end of this episode of Azadi Ka Safar, AIR News ke sang. See you in the next episode tomorrow.
Minister of Earth Sciences Dr. Jitendra Singh today said India's future growth depends on science-driven economy. He was inaugurating the Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav week being organized by the Ministry of Earth Sciences, referring to the commemoration of 75 years of India's independence. Dr. Jitendra Singh said it is also an occasion to plan for the next 25 years with conscious realization that science and technology is going to be the main currency for the inclusive growth of India. Prime Minister Narendra Modi today congratulated the people of Uttarakhand as the state has administered the first dose of COVID-19 vaccine to its entire eligible population. In a tweet, Mr. Modi said this achievement of Uttarakhand is very important in the country's fight against COVID-19.
In the men's 2020 Cricket World Cup, Scotland beat Bangladesh by 6 runs in the second Group B encounter in Muscat last night. Put into bat first, Scotland posted a score of 140 runs for the loss of 9 wickets in stipulated 20 overs. With the help of Chris Greaves's 45 of 28 balls. The men in blue will play its first warm-up match against England today, which will begin at 7:30 p.m. Indian time at the Dubai International Stadium.
Now let us take a look at the weather update for today. National capital Delhi is likely to have generally cloudy sky with moderate rain. Minimum temperature was 20 degrees Celsius, maximum expected to be 27. Mumbai will have a partly cloudy sky. It recorded a minimum temperature of 22 degrees, maximum expected to be 34. Chennai is expected to have generally cloudy sky with light rain or drizzle. Lower limit of temperature was 27 degrees, while upper limit is expected to be nearly 34. Kolkata will have a generally cloudy sky with a few spells of rain or thunder showers. The city noted a minimum temperature of 24 degrees, maximum expected to be around 31. And now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Relief and rescue operations in full swing in Kerala. Prime Minister Narendra Modi discusses situation with Chief Minister. Centre assures all help to Kerala to tide over the crisis. Death toll in rain-related incidents rises to 25. IMD predicts heavy rainfall in Uttarakhand, Delhi and several parts of Uttar Pradesh. Over 97 crore 79 lakh COVID-19 vaccine doses administered in the country so far. Recovery rate is at 98.12%. Uttarakhand administers first dose of COVID vaccine to its entire eligible population. Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman meets global leaders and investors in New York, says India has undertaken several reforms to ease foreign investment in infrastructure, including fiscal benefits. External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar appreciates Israel's visible enthusiasm for having more partnerships with India. Jammu and Kashmir Administration and Dubai government sign MOU for industrialization and sustainable growth in Union Territory. 5-day Naval Commanders Conference begins today in New Delhi. India to take part in Moscow format meeting on Afghanistan to be held on Wednesday. And with that, we end the midday news.